Hey y'all, it's Miss A. Today we are going to be looking at ratio tables again. This is day number 2 on it. But before we get started, I do want to point out that you are watching this video from a new YouTube page. I had to change from my old page that had all my videos to a brand new one, but I have uploaded all those old videos as well. So everything you need is on this new page, but I will no longer be putting videos on the old page. So you can unsubscribe from that one and subscribe to this new page, please. Please make sure you subscribe, press that bell to get notifications, and if you do subscribe, take a little picture that show me that you subscribed, whatever it is, and show me on Zoom or send me a picture in a email, and you can get a free 100 just for subscribing. It'll help me out. The more people subscribe, the more this video gets out. I'm just trying to help as many people as I possibly can. So anyway, let's get started. Like I said, we're looking at ratio tables today. This is day number 2. We did it yesterday. But the difference is today we're not going to be given a table. We're going to have to make a table. And y'all might be like, oh, I don't want to draw all those lines and boxes to do that. But a ratio table is going to be easy. You're going to see how we don't need to make it harder than it needs to be. So let's get started. Number 1 says, at a dog shelter, a 24-pound bag of dog food, 24-pound bag of dog food will feed 36 dogs a day. How many dogs, so we know we're solving for the number of dogs, how many dogs would you expect to feed with a 16-pound bag of dog food? So first thing we need to look at is we realize that our bag of food is going down. If my bag of food goes down in size, then my number of dogs should go down as well. So I need a number, my answer should be smaller than 36 dogs. So right there, that will tell me, if I get a number 36 or higher, that will tell me something's wrong. Because if my bag is getting smaller, then I'm gonna feed less dogs. All right, so we need to set up a ratio table. So the first thing we need to do is we need to determine what is the ratio that we know. Okay, our known ratio is 24-pound a bag feeds 36 dogs. So our ratio is 24 to 36. That is the first thing we need to do, is write that ratio down. The next thing we need to do, which is one of the most important things in my opinion, is to come up with the word ratio that goes with those numbers. So we need to go back and look at what does 24 refer to. 24-pound bag. So I'll do LB and then bag. And then 36 refers to the number of dogs. All right. So now you can see that we've got a known ratio. We have a word ratio. We know what each number goes with. And now we need to figure out where that last number goes. We're solving for how many dogs, and then it says if we have a 16-pound bag of food. So here's my bag, so I'm going to put 16 with that, and I'm solving for this missing piece at the bottom. I'm going to put a variable to represent an unknown value that we're solving for. So now all I got to do is solve it. And my first thing would be to look for a relationship here, going from 24 to 16, but you notice we don't have it. So my next step is going to be to try to simplify this ratio first. We can put it here, simplify it, because that's still coming up with an equivalent ratio. It's just making it smaller. And hopefully once we simplify it, we're going to have a relationship to 16. So we're going to go here and we're going to find 24 over 36 on our chart. And you can see we have one right over here, 24 and 36. So to simplify it, we just move all the way to the left. And that gets me 2/3. So my equivalent ratio that I found for 24 to 36 is now 2/3. And now we do have a relationship going from 2 to 16. I can get from 2 to 16 by multiplying. Sorry, guys. All right, sorry, there was an announcement. So to get from 2 to 16, we can multiply by 8. 2 times 8 is 16. So in order to keep it equivalent, I have to multiply by the same exact thing here at the bottom. So 3 times 8 will get me my answer of 24. And 24 is at the bottom, and we were referring to dogs. So that does go with what we said earlier, that we had to have less than 36 dogs because our bag was a smaller bag. So 24 dogs is what a 16-pound bag will feed. So my ratio table, as you notice, we didn't have all those extra lines and boxes. It was very simple. We just came up with a couple fractions and solved it. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. All right, number 2, a cookie recipe calls for 2 cups of flour and makes 30 cookies. The question is, how many cups, so we know we're solving for the number of cups, how many cups of flour would you need to make 90 cookies? To make 90 cookies. So we can notice here that our cookies went from 30 up to 90. So if I'm making more cookies, it would make sense that I would use more cups of flour. So I need to have more than 2 cups as my answer. More than 2 cups. At least that's one. If I had answer choices that were less than 2 cups, I could eliminate them. But we know there has to be more than 2. All right, so first of all, let's find our ratio. My ratio are my 2 numbers that go together. So in this case, the recipe has 2 cups of flour and makes 30 cookies. So my ratio would be 2 to 30. Now we need to find that word ratio. So 2 represented cups of flour. You could just put cups, it's fine. Unless both of them were cups. If both of them represented cups of flour and sugar, then you would have to be more specific. But you don't have to in this one. And then 30 represents cookies. So 2 cups, 30 cookies. And then we need to know how many cups of flour would you need to make 90 cookies. So 90 represents cookies, so we're going to put it at the bottom. And we're solving for this piece at the top. Now on this one, again, we're going to look for that relationship, looking for the 2 numbers that are side by side. And I actually do have one in this case. I don't have to simplify. I can get from 30 to 90 by multiplying by 3. 30 times 3 is 90. So to keep it equivalent, you do the same exact thing at the top. So 2 times 3 will get me my answer of 6. And that is 6 cups of flour. And that does follow what we said earlier. We know we had to have more than 2 cups. So it makes sense. And also, if you look here, the amount of cookies tripled. I multiplied 30 to 90, which we saw here, was tripling the recipe. So times 3, and then 2 times 3 is 6. That's exactly what we did to solve it. All right, and then one last problem says that Patrick buys 12 bunches of bananas for $9. How much will he pay for 8 bunches of bananas? So he bought 12, and we want to see how much it's going to cost for 8. So if you think about it, if our bunches went down, our price needs to go down as well. So we need to have lower or less than, whatever you want to say, lower than $9 for my answer. All right, my known ratio, we know that he buys 12 bunches of bananas for $9. So 12 and 9 go together. 12 represented bunches, or you could put bananas, doesn't really matter. And then 9 represented the dollars. And then we need to put this number 8 in. 8 represented bunches. So I'm not going to put it at the bottom because that was dollars. I'm going to put it on top with bunches. And this is what I'm solving for, the blank piece for the dollars, because it said how much. All right, so now I'm going to look for that relationship for my 2 numbers that are side by side, which in this case are 12 and 8. But I cannot get to 8 by multiplying or dividing, so I need to simplify this first. So it might throw you off that you have an improper fraction, but that's okay. First of all, you could flip everything if you really wanted to, but we don't need to. It's not necessary. 12 to 9. I'm going to find 9 over 12 on my chart. Even though it's not the exact fraction, it's close enough. 9 over 12 is right here. But when I simplify it, make sure I flip it in the end because this was an improper fraction. So here's 9/12. So we're going to reduce it and get 3/4. But then we're going to flip it because it's improper and get 4/3. If this is improper, then this should be improper. And this one should be improper as well. So this value has to be less than 8. We have to have 7 or lower because if it's improper here, it's going to be improper in the end. All right, once we simplify it to 4/3, now we have a relationship going here. I can get from 4 to 8 by multiplying by 2. So to keep it equivalent, I do the same thing at the bottom. 3 times 2 will get me my answer of 6. and this was $6. And again, that matches what we said earlier. We had to have a value that was lower than $9. $6 definitely is that. So that is all there is to it about ratio tables. Like I said, ratio tables don't have to be fancy. We don't have to get out a ruler and measure everything. Just draw some, write the fractions, and just keep everything nice, neat, and organized. If y'all have any questions over this, please don't hesitate to contact me on Zoom or email. And like I mentioned earlier, please make sure you subscribe to my new YouTube page and press that bell to get notifications every time I post a new video. Send me a screenshot of that show me that you subscribe, and you get a free 100. Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to y'all later, guys. Bye.